Hello YouTubers, and welcome back to my channel, the Virginia Bushcrafter. And if this is your first time here, this is the channel that has the motto of learn and practice bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. Now with bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills, there is a massive amount of information and elements that goes into all three: bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. So today, I want to talk about the gear line of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. Now, let's take a look. Okay, so I am here basically in my bushcrafting clothes. That is the first line of gear. Your first gear line is your basic clothing. Now, with that clothing, things that I think are very important is number one, navigation. Having a compass. A compass is very, very important. Having a compass, and this compass also has a mirror that can be used for signaling. That stays on me. In addition to a GPS system. This system has 5 waypoints. It can tell me how far away I am from my vehicle. Once I get to my camp, I can put a mark there. If I decide to leave that camp and go do something else nearby, this GPS system will direct me back to my camp. So I always carry this as a backup. The next thing that stays on me is a whistle. Very, very important to have a whistle. You must have a whistle when you are in the bush. The next thing I think that is very, very important is cell phones. Yes, cell phones. And I say that because what happens if you accidentally drop one or lose one? You have another cell phone that you can dial that would dial that number. So you will be able to locate that phone. So again, just starting off, as my first line of gear is my basic clothing, my whistle, my compass and GPS system, and cell phones. Now, when it comes to safety, that's a very, very important element of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. Now, me personally, the first thing that is very important is a knife. And I prefer a knife that has a 10-inch cutting blade. With this knife, I can chop large limbs, thick wood, small branches. I can do carving, make feather sticks, shavings, use a ferrocerium rod on it. Numerous things that you can do with a knife. 90-degree spine. You will need all of that when you are in the bush, especially by yourself. And you always want to make sure when you are not using your knife, you want to make sure that it is securely put into the sheath, because the knife is very, very important. Now again, with my basic clothing, basic survival gear, I'm going to have a fire kit with me. This fire kit stays in my cargo pocket in a plastic bag. In my fire kit are a number of items. What I carry in this fire kit is a magnesium bar. That is part of it. Magnesium bar with a striker, and the paracord can be used as tinder. This magnesium bar, also you can scrape this and make shavings and immediately get a spark and start a fire. Now, the good thing about the magnesium bar is that the shavings, it doesn't take very long to make the shavings, but I prefer to make my shavings and just keep them with me in aluminum foil. Now, in addition to the shavings, the magnesium shavings, I also carry wet fire. This burns on water. Even when it's wet, it burns. If the wood is wet, it burns. I also carry a lighter, matches, candles, and a commando saw. This saw will come in very handy if I have to abandon my camp to avoid injury or danger. This is a commando saw. Along with this fire kit, I also carry just a small amount of Gorilla Tape. This can be used as tinder, and it's very good. So again, guys, one other thing, waterproof firewood. That is another item I carry in my fire kit that stays on me. So the waterproof firewood, Gorilla Tape, a lighter, matches, small candles, two types of magnesium, wet fire and magnesium from the magnesium bar. The magnesium bar itself that has a ferrocerium rod along with a striker and paracord with 7 strands that can be used as tinder as well. So, and again, my commando saw. So guys, that is what is in my fire kit that stays in my cargo pocket. Also, in my cargo pocket, I carry a bivy sack. This bivy sack is a very bright orange, mylar on the inside, and it will easily accommodate 2 individuals. This allows you to have something to sleep in. Definitely if you have to abandon your camp to avoid an injury or any type of endangerment. This stays in my cargo pocket. Also, what stays in my cargo pocket are 2 canteens. Now you may say, how are you going to carry canteens in your cargo pocket? Very easy. That's one. Here is the second one. Take a plastic sandwich bag, fully wrap it with Gorilla Tape, and you have a makeshift canteen. Both of these stay in my pocket. One on the left and one on the right. Additionally, in the cargo pocket is a first aid kit. Very important. In addition to flashlights, lighting, a headlamp, backup batteries, and a hanging lamp. As well as something to write on. A waterproof notebook with a pencil and a pen. You can always leave a note if you are in any type of situation to help a rescue squad find you. In addition to these items, something that is very, very important is food. Keep something on you that is liquid, something that is solid. Liquid would help digest quicker. You would get the energy quicker. And here is the solid food. In addition to these items, guys, of course you're going to carry a wallet. You're going to have some money in it, credit cards as well. And lastly, paracord. You're going to have that on both wrists, at least I do, along with paracord in my boots. So again, guys, I just wanted to go over the first line gear for basic survival. Clothing, navigation, your whistle, your cell phone, safety comes to a knife, a first aid kit, a fire kit, something I want to show you also is a multi-tool. Again, the multi-tool, very important. It has a blade, a file, Phillips screwdriver, and a pair of scissors. So again, on one side I have a file, a blade, a pair of scissors, and a Phillips screwdriver. And on the other side, a serrated edge blade. This is the saw. A serrated edge blade, a common head screwdriver with a bottle opener, and a smaller common head screwdriver. So again, serrated edge blade, common head screwdriver with a bottle opener, another smaller common head screwdriver, and a saw. And again, on this side, we have a blade, a Phillips screwdriver, a pair of scissors, a file, and those items are very, very important. Along with a pair of pliers and wire cutters. These are the items that stay on me. These items are very, very important. I deem them very, very necessary. So again, guys, this may not fit everyone's situation, and this may change as your day goes on. But I just wanted to bring to you the first line of gear. And again, this is basic survival gear. So let's talk about the second line gear. Hey guys, so something else that's very important with your first line gear, just out of convenience, it is always good to just have a flashlight in your pocket, as well as just a folding knife. Having these two items in your pocket will make a big difference. These are items that also go into your first line gear. Flashlight and a pocket knife. Hey guys, now I want to talk to you about my third line gear. But before I do that, something I want to mention that I did not mention about my second line gear. My second line gear also has another fire kit, and it is more in depth than the one that remains in my cargo pocket. But in this fire kit, which is my main fire kit, here is jute twine, which is a great tinder, a bellow, pocket bellow, used to supply oxygen to the fire, my main ferrocerium rod, chapstick that can assist in starting your fire. Flint and steel, as well as char cloth. So that is what is in my main firebox. That is part of my second line gear. And I'm going to explain to you why this is part of my second line gear. So I'm going to attach this back to my pouch and we're going to talk about it. In addition, on my second line of gear is another knife. This knife is basically used for feather sticking, food processing, anything like that. It is always good to have your main knife and a backup knife. And again, it is properly, let's put it back into the sheet properly. Line of gear. As well as instructions for Morse code, my second line of gear. As well as another whistle. Yes, I have a whistle on me for my first line of gear, a second whistle on my second line of gear. My second line of gear also consists of tablets for water purification, a lighter, and waterproof matches. And carabiners. Now you may say, why would you need carabiners? Shelter building. They come in very handy for shelter building. So guys, I know a lot of you may be saying, man, that's a lot of weight to carry. Extra weight, redundancy. Again, remember, prepping is part of bushcrafting. Bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. If you're ever forced into an emergency, thrust to an unknown emergency, you want to be prepared. You don't want to have to depend necessarily on calling someone unless it is absolutely necessary. So guys, that is my second line gear that I wanted to share with you. But now let's talk about the third line gear. Yes, we've spoken about first line gear, everything that's on me. Second line gear, a pouch that I can just strap on me. So let's talk about third line gear. Now guys, when we are speaking of our third line gear, we're basically speaking of something that goes into our rucksack. And right now I want to talk about the cutting tools. I basically carry my cutting tools in my rucksack or my backpack. And of importance is a hatchet. This hatchet is used for splitting wood, delimbing trunks, delimbing trees, but you can use it as a hammer for tent pegs or tent stakes. So my cutting tools that are in my third line gear are a hatchet and a saw. Now I carry a backup saw in my second line gear, but when I am processing a lot of wood, I'm going to be using a larger saw, and this is a 10-inch saw. And when I start cutting tree trunks that are 12-14 inches, I'm going to use a D-ring saw. This saw saws on the push and the pull. So this is part of my third line gear. A saw and a hatchet. And if I don't have a hatchet with me, I'm going to have a very large machete. So guys, just want to share that with you, and we're going to talk more about the third. This is a 32-ounce metal canteen that comes with a nesting cup in which I can cook, and a lid. So, as with my second line of gear, I use the hexamine stove. If I'm going to be out for a while, I am going to elect to use these items: the larger canteen, the 32-ounce canteen, a nesting cup with the lid. Now that is in addition to a 40-ounce clean canteen with its nesting cup and a hanger. So if I want to boil water, I just take this off, insert the hanger, and it hangs the clean canteen above the fire. Or I can put it in the fire and just use a stick or a part of the end of my shovel, insert it into the ring, and remove this from the fire. Now, when it comes to cleanliness, and we're going to be there for a long period of time, we have to take into consideration sanitation or staying clean. So something of importance is toilet paper and wipes. You will need this if you're going to be in the bush, and whether you have to abandon your camp because of danger or any type of injury, you're going to need these items when you go into the bush: toilet paper and wipes. In addition to camp soap and a washcloth. So always take camp soap and hand sanitizer. And again, as part of the utensils, of your cooking utensils, I prefer to carry metal, spoon, and fork. Now, I can carry something that is lighter, But there is more than one use for metal items. Metal knife, metal fork, metal spoon. If I'm without my shovel, I can always use these as a digging tool. So that's something to consider. So with that being said, guys, of course, you're going to have to carry food with you. If you're going to be in the bush for 2 days, you want to immediately think, I'll need enough food for 3 days. And when you get to a day and a half of food remaining, or a day and a half of food consumed, you want to start foraging your food. Hunting, trapping, fishing, snaring. Those are skills that are needed in survival. Now, you may say you have a lot of redundancy, but let's be clear. I'm going to be clear. I am not going into the bush and have items that basically serve one purpose. I always want to look for my items can be used for more than one purpose, and I look at redundancy. Now, granted, my backpack may be 40 to 50 pounds, but I carry a large backpack, one that is 105 liters, basically 6,407 cubic inches. That's a very large backpack. And I think it's necessary if you want to carry the gear that you want to feel secure with. I also have a military rucksack, a Mali 2, that is 5,000 liters, that equals up to it's 81 liters, and it equals up to about right at 5,000 cubic inches. I like to make sure I have enough room for everything that I'm going to take, whether it's a 1 day or a 2 day stay into the bush. So guys, again, I just want to talk about and think about your first line gear. That is basically your clothing, everything that is on you. That is basic. Your second line gear is everything that you need to stay on a daily basis under normal circumstances. And that's basically going to be something that you can put in a pouch around your waist in the event that you have to leave your camp because of maybe some danger or some injury. And your third line of gear is basically everything that's going to go in your rucksack or your backpack. And that equipment is needed if you to stay alive or to function for a long period of time. And again, that will depend upon your mode of transportation. Whether you're on a four-wheeler, whether you're walking, or if you're walking in snowshoes. Keep all of those in mind, guys. These are very, very important. Gear is very, very important. So take it serious. Now, you may say, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. Well, if you're bushcrafting, you know your destination before you leave your residence. You should know where you're going. Sometimes you do, sometimes I don't. So, again, one way to help resolve that so that you can carry that gear: exercise, aerobics, lifting weights, calisthenics, movement, up and down your stairs, walk around to the park. I have a theory sometimes if it's 3 miles or less, I'm going to walk. I'm not going to drive. If it's on a nice day, I'm going to ride a bike. If it's nice in the summer, I'm going to go take a swim. Get in shape, get your checkup, see your dentist. Do all of this before going into the bush, or something to consider while you're in the bush. These are the things you want to take care of. So guys, I just wanted to bring that to your attention again, the first, second, and third line of gear. So with that being said, guys, I hope I have given you some good information. And with that said, hey guys, hit the like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Virginia Bushcrafter. Thank you.